Hamas has said that it has agreed to a ceasefire, but what does that mean for the hostages who have been living in captivity? Well, the Washington Examiner spoke directly to a brother of a hostage who has been living in tough conditions under Hamas.
He is a very sensitive person. He is very generous. He is very engaging.
65-year-old Keith Siegel is an Israeli-American citizen. He and his wife were kidnapped by Hamas back in October, rocking the family's entire world. Living in an Israeli community known as a kibbutz near the border of Gaza, Siegel said his brother being taken hostage made their worst fears come to life.
Actually, for people who live down there, is a nightmare scenario that they have lived with for many years. The terrorists would somehow infiltrate a kibbutz.
But now with a possible ceasefire on the horizon, things could change. Hamas said it agreed to a ceasefire proposal, this just hours after Israel's military announced evacuation orders for portions of Rafah, a city in Gaza where more than 1 million Palestinians have sought refuge. So far, Israel has not commented on the development. And while the U.S. is pushing for an agreement, officials are still reviewing specifics before making an official statement.
We want to get a ceasefire in place for 6 weeks. We want to increase humanitarian assistance. And the last thing that I want to do is say anything at this podium that's going to put that process at risk.
While details of the agreement are unclear, most translations of the recent proposals included a roughly 6-week pause in fighting, the release of some 30 Israeli hostages, the release of Palestinians detained in Israel's prison system, and a surge of humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip.
They had no exposure to anything outside of Hamas telling them that there is no more Kfar Aza. Israel will soon be gone. And when you leave Gaza, you will go to Europe or the United States.
While Keith's wife, Aviva, was released on the 4th day of being held captive, after more than 200 days, he's still hanging on by a thread. Hamas released a video of Keith. His brother says politics need to be put aside for right now.
Two things don't go together. It's empty slogans, it's populist messaging, and my brother is suffering because of that. It should not be on the back of my brother and the hostages to get a military victory.
It's unclear if the proposal that Hamas has said it has agreed to is one that Israel would support at this moment in time. I'm Natasha Sweet for the Washington Examiner.